Today we are going to study sales management. So we'll understand what is sales, what is definition of sales, and what is definition of sales management. Uh, Personal selling is where business use people, the sales force, to sell the product after meeting face to face with the customer. So sales management is nothing but personal selling. Personal selling is the selling or the activity where business uses people or the sales force or the manpower to sell the product after meeting face to face with the customer. So as in a day-to-day life, we see a lot of sales people do meet us and try to sell some or the other product. So that's called personal selling, and managing all those things is called sales management. The sellers promote the product through their attitude, appearance, and specialist product knowledge. So while selling, salesperson try to showcase its product knowledge, try to influence the customer with his attitude, appearance, and his knowledge, and try to sell the product, try to close the deal. They aim to inform and encourage the customer to buy or at least try the product. So if the customer is not willing to purchase, if he has not planned to purchase that particular product, he is saying at least you try, whenever you require you purchase it. So he is trying to inform that particular customer or the prospect that we have such facilities, we have such products, we have such a services, and he is always trying to motivate and encourage that particular prospect or the customer to close the deal, or to uh, he is convincing that particular customers to buy, to make a purchase of that particular product. Now, definition of the sales management. According to American Marketing Association, sales management means the planning, directing, controlling of personal selling. So what we have seen, what is a personal selling? Personal selling is where business use people or the sales force or the manpower. Personal selling where businesses are using people or the sales force or the manpower to sell the product when they are meeting with the customer face to face. So planning, coordinate, sales management means planning, direction, and control of personal selling, including recruiting salespeople, selecting salespeople, equipping salespeople, training salespeople, assigning salespeople, routing salespeople, supervising salespeople, paying salespeople, motivating salespeople, and these tasks apply to personal sales force. So under sales management, we recruit people, we select people, we train people, we assign them some territory, we tell them the plan or the route by they have to follow. We supervise them, how much they are performing, what is their performance, are they performing good, are they performing best, are they performing poor, and after that we also take care of their compensation. We also motivate them every day to make to perform their 100%, and try to generate as much revenue, as much profit as possible. So this is called sales management. And always make sure that you write definition from authorized source, like American Marketing Association is a very good source for definitions or to clear the concept. Now, what are the advantages and the disadvantages of the personal selling? Uh, when you are selling, if you are the marketer, if you are owner of any company, and if you are appointing a lot of salespeople and sending them to the customers, then customer is highly satisfied because they get a person who has particular knowledge, and uh, they are in a position to get all the necessary information. So customer gets high attention. Then we can customize the message whenever we are selling we to particular customer face to face. That time we can customize the message as per his requirement. uh, Unlike in advertisement, the same message goes to everyone. In the personal selling, message can be customized. Then interactivity, a lot of interaction happens, a lot of question answer sessions are there, a lot of doubt clearing sessions are there, a lot of negotiations happens. So it is interactive. Then both try to convince each other. Customers try to convince, get that product at less price, and seller wants to, or the salesperson wants to sell that product at highest price. Then potential for the development of the relationship, and if that person is delighted, satisfied, then he keep on purchasing again and again. Repeat purchases happens, and it creates long term relationship. And that customers, throughout his life, paying more amount to the organization. That is called customer lifetime value, that we are going to see in a few more lectures, in some other lecture. Adaptable, yes, person selling can be adaptable to any product. And opportunity to close the sale. So there is opportunity if you solve all the doubts of the customers. He must be having immediate requirement many a times, and close sale is closed on the spot. Now, what are the disadvantage? High cost, it is labor intensive, it is so much expensive, and can only reach to limited number of customers, because we have limited number of salespeople. Then you cannot send each salesperson to each customer. You cannot have one salesperson to one customer. You have limited number of sales force, they can cover limited number of customers. Now, what is the person? How what is the personal selling process? How it is? Selling process starts with prospecting or the new customer. We always try to find out new customers. We always get the references. We always get the leads. We always get the information who all need our product, and then we prepare a list. These are the probable people who will be interested in our product. And then what we do, we collect a lot of information about the customers, about his age, education, his income, his disposable income, then his habits. And then it is very useful at the time of selling. Then we approach that customer, we take the appointment, and after getting the appointment, we give them presentation, either oral presentation or with the help of audio visual tools. Then we the questions raised by the customers regarding price, regarding qualities, regarding the benefits. Then we, if we successfully handle the objections, we if we successfully handle the queries, then he's ready to purchase the product. Then we close the deals. If he's not ready, we try to convince him with giving some discounts. And if he's ready, then we close the deals, and after we deliver the product. And after that, we take the follow-up, whether he is satisfied, whether he's not satisfied, what are the problems, how to solve his problems. That follow-up is necessary. Then now the first topic we are going to discuss is that evaluation of the sales management. How it started. Earlier, we have to go back to the Industrial Revolution. In 1760, Industrial Revolution began or started in UK. We must be knowing that British people, they were very good at science and all the streams of the science, specifically physics. Lots of products, lots of machines they have invented, lot of elements they have invented. Uh, Industrial Revolution started in Britain and its neighboring countries in 1716. And because of Industrial Revolution, we got a lot of benefits. We got electricity, we got vehicles, we got then mobiles, then we got telephones. Lot of things we got. Lot of things are invented. Initially, the demand was more because there were no manufacturers, or there were no companies. So very few companies were there, because that knowledge was limited to few people only. So small scale manufacturers were there. Like you say, for two wheelers or the four wheelers, there were very few companies which were manufacturing cars, like Ford, Mercedes, and Ford, Mercedes, and some other companies like that. So very few companies were manufacturing the products, and demand was huge. So that period was completely dominated by the small scale manufacturers. But as we develop, as we started producing more and more machines, and because of more and more machines we started producing more and more products. Then we developed the need to sell our product outside the country. So as we said, industrial revolution started in 1760, and at that point of time, only few organizations were there, and only small manufacturers were there, because it was in the initial phase, industrial revolution, and we did not have large machineries, and we could able to produce products to some extent, and there was huge demand, but very few companies were there. So that era was dominated by the small scale manufacturers. Afterwards, as industrial revolution progressed, we started producing big machines, and because of that we have large scale manufacturers. And after that, to sell, because of large scale manufacturers, we could able to produce large scale products on the large scale, and these products uh, we had to sell to some other countries, like overseas market, international market. We need to uh, check. So large scale manufacturers started dominating in second phase when industrial revolution started progressing, and there was industrial revolution majorly happened in UK and USA. And initially, as I said, large scale manufacturers were dominating, and later on, initially small scale manufacturers were dominating, and afterwards large scale manufacturers started dominating. Initially, there was demand supply gap. There was more demand and less supply, and afterwards there was more supply and less demand. That's why large scale manufacturers started producing large products on the large amount, large scale, and there was a need to establish more departments like market research department, customer service department, advertising department, etc. And there was a need to sell these products throughout the world, globally. And there were big corporation, like if you see the vehicle manufacturing company, we have uh, Mercedes, we have Ford, we have Volkswagen groups. They started, and in order to sell these products to various countries, they started developing different departments. So earlier, when large scale manufacturers were there, we were not requiring a research department, advertising department, and so on. But as large scale manufacturers started dominating, we started producing products on the large scale, and the demand in that particular country was satisfied, and market is saturated. Then we started entering into new geographies. That's why we started many departments, like operation department, finance department, HR department, uh, administrative department, research and development department, customer service department. So there was a need. Separate functional departments were established, which included manufacturing, finance, and sales. Due to the Due to the manufacturing of large quantities of goods, selling to nearby markets was not adequate, and there was a need to expand the market. Due to the manufacturing of large quantities of goods, selling to nearby markets was not adequate, and there was a need to expand the market. Due to the manufacturing of the large quantities of the goods, selling to nearby markets was not adequate, and there was a need to expand the market. So we explain that point. When So as we discussed that we started developing large amount of products because we have large scale manufacturers, and we entered into different geographies. We entered into different countries. So to sell these products, because the country in which that uh, uh, product was manufacturing was saturated, and there was no demand, so they started selling their products in other geographies, like industrial revolution happened in European countries, and they started selling their products in Middle East, Asia, then Africa. So in these countries, Middle East, Asia, Africa, Gulf countries, Asia, and some other countries, uh, they required wholesaler and retailers. So you cannot sell, if suppose there is a manufacturer in India, and if they want to sell their product in Russia, so you cannot sell a salesperson from India to sell the products in Russia. So what you do, you open sales office over there in Russia, in other countries, and you start recruiting people from the Russia, and these where the sales people, they you will find their wholesalers, retailers, and through these people you can sell your product. You have to give some amount of some commission to them. This was possible with the involvement of the wholesalers and retailers selling the company's goods to consumers who were located far away from the manufacturing units. So they started selling their product far away in different countries. Marketing activities like advertising, sales promotion, shipping or dispatching and so on become not only important but also complex. So earlier there was no sales promotion department, no dispatch department, no advertising department, because the companies were small scale and they were selling the product only nearby area. So when they become a large scale organization, they started selling their products in different countries, and for that they required specialized functioning departments. So these departments were not only important, but they were very complex, because suppose take example of advertising. So if you want to advertise, you need to understand the customers requirement, needs and expectation. Then you have to understand their culture. Then you have to do survey, what can motivate them to purchase a product. You have to do a lot of research, and you have to come to the conclusion. You have to calculate the effectiveness of that advertisement. So a lot of things are there. So these things are not only important but also complex, because they were risky. A lot of money was involved. If therefore became necessary to split the marketing function into the sales function and other support functions like advertising, sales promotion, marketing research, and marketing logistic or physical distribution. So apart from selling, they were having some more departments, some more functions like transportation, storing, then advertising, logistic and supply chain, and so on. And you will see a typical organization at that time, a point of time, was marketing department was divided into sales plus sales promotion plus market research plus logistic and supply chain and customer service. It is important to understand that the sales department continues to occupy an important position even today, because it is the income or revenue producing function, and no other function in the organization brings in income. So even though there were so many departments, but sales department was the major department, an important department, because sales department was the one who were getting the orders, who were getting the money, who were uh, collecting the who were generating the profit, who were generating the revenue, who were generating the money, and other departments were only the uh, liability. Or now next is buyer seller diet. Buyer seller diet is nothing but the interaction which is happening between buyer and seller, and that interaction is called as a diet. Fundamental to understanding salesmanship is recognition that it involves buyer-seller interaction. So there are at least two parties one is buyer, one is seller, and they interact with each other, and that interaction is called as diet. Right? Sociologists use the term diet to describe a situation in which two people interact. So there are, I can give you two examples. One example, they are very common example. One example where salesperson visit customer and face-to-face interaction happen. That is the first example of diet. The salesperson and the prospect, that is a customer, new customer interacting with each other, constitute one example of the buyer-seller diet. Now, second example is advertisement. Another example is the interaction of the seller using advertising. Interaction with the customer using advertising by the seller. A particular prospect in reading, listening, or viewing the audience. So in the first interaction, there is a lot of interaction happening. There are a lot of chances, there are a lot of probability of sales. You can solve the doubts of the customers. And in advertisement, there are limited control over the activity over the sales. In both advertising and personal selling, the seller seeks to motivate the prospective buyer to behave favorably toward the seller. In both advertising and personal selling, the seller seeks to motivate the prospective buyer to behave favorably toward the seller. So, in diet, whether it may be a one-to-one, face-to-face interaction, or it is interaction through advertisement, everywhere they try to motivate the customer so that he will purchase the product. Whether or not buyer reacts or as a seller desires depends upon nature of the interaction. So how proficient you are, how good at your communication skill, how good at you in convincing the customer that these products are value for the money, these products are beneficial to you, these products will solve your problems. On the basis of that, on the nature of the interaction, the buyer will decide whether to purchase or not, or his decision is depend on nature of the interaction. The opportunity for the interaction is less in the advertising than in the personal selling, because in personal selling we are there to solve the doubts, we have some amount of control. However, the advertising and the personal selling often supplement or support each other, and buyer reacts to their combined effect. So in today's situation, in today's life, uh, we not only have a personal selling department, we also have advertising department, and advertising department helps personal selling department, and personal selling department helps advertising department, and the sales happens. Franklin Evans research buyer seller diets in the life insurance business. So there is a researcher called Franklin Evans. He has done a research in insurance sector, particularly on diet. His outcomes was, his conclusion was, his finding was that if your seller and buyer had similar characteristics, then your sale will happen. If your buyer and seller are of same age, same language, same region, same characteristics, same qualities, same preference, same taste, and if most of the qualities they have similar, then it is likely that there will be good interaction, and sales probability increases. The prospects who bought the insurance knew more about the salesperson. The prospect who bought insurance knew more about the salesperson, and their companies felt more positively towards them, and did prospects who did not buy. So in his experiment, Franklin observed that if in insurance sector, if if customer knows, if a buyer knows seller about his identity, about his location, if he knows his language, then there are possibility that sales will happen. So in insurance sector, most of the policies are purchased by the person who are very much familiar to the customer. So on basis of that, he said that, or he concluded that, if you have similar characteristics as the salesperson, if customer has similar characteristics as a salesperson, there are more chances that sales will happen. Furthermore, the more alike salesperson, more similar salesperson and their prospects were, the greater was the likelihood that the sale would result. This was true for the physical characteristic, that is age and height, objective factors like income, religion, and education, or personality factors like politics, smoking habits. So if a buyer and seller has same age, same height, same amount, same income group, or same religion, same education, then they have the similar choices for the politics and similar choices like smoking, then there are more chances that the sales will happen, because they can easily believe, they will have faith in one another, and there will be a positive relationship which is going to be built. Events findings have significance for the sales management. Whenever possible, sales personnel should be assigned to the prospect whose characteristics are similar to their own, thus improving the chance of successful dyadic relationship. So, what is suggested out of this Franklin Evans research, that it is suggested to the marketer, it is suggested to the organization, it is suggested to the companies that you should allocate same qualities, same salesperson who has same qualities, to some extent who has same characteristic as per your customer or as per the buyer, so that there will be a successful sales deal, or there are likely chances, there are more probability that sales will happen. Pairing sales persons with the customers of the similar background is more easily accomplished in industrial selling, where there are few prospects about whom interaction is needed, than in consumer goods selling, where the number of prospects and customers are salesperson per salesperson is much larger. So in industrial selling, in B2B selling, as there are very few customers, you can appoint your salespeople to these customers, and there you have a chance to for the allocation. But in case of FMCG products, in case of other products, B2C products, in B2C products, there are large number of hundreds of thousands of lakhs of crores of customers are there. So there are very less chances that you can able to appoint a salesperson who has similar characteristic as a customer. So in B2B segment, you have choice. You can allot uh, uh, salesperson who has similar characteristic as the customers. But in FMCG industry, in B2C sector, it is very difficult because the customers are large in number. The buyer seller diet. The good communication is a key to successful marketing, and it is particularly important for a positive personal selling result. So in diet like buyer seller interaction, good communication always help to build a positive results, positive relationship. So if a person has a very good communication skill, he can able to explain his products. He can able to explain his services. He can able to clarify the doubt very easily. Buyer seller diet is flexible, efficient, and closes the sales and provides feedback. So, buyer seller interaction is flexible, as it is happening as per the time of the sell buyer, and it is efficient that because they can clear their doubts, and demonstration can happen, presentation can happen face to face. Then you can get the feedback, you can get the information, and there are likely more chances, there is more probability that sales will happen. Now, nature and next topic is nature and importance of sales management. Nature and importance of the sales management can be explained by 3 points. Its integration with the marketing, sales integration with the marketing, relationship selling, that is long-term relationship with the customer. Then varying sales responsibilities, that is different responsibilities sales people have. Now, first point, integration with the marketing management. As sales management is a part of marketing management, sales planning is a part of integrate. It is integral part of marketing planning. So that's why it is integrated, because sales management is small part of marketing. So sales There are sales marketing management. Likewise, we have sales management. If there is marketing planning, like we have sales planning. So, sell is one component of marketing. That's why it is integral part of the marketing. As simple as that. The company's marketing team typically consists of two basic groups. One is field group and one is headquarter field sales team, and other is headquarter marketing team. Field selling team or the field sales force are in their territories or the branches or the regions contacting existing and prospective or new customers. So in field sales, uh, you will be allocated to particular territory, you will be given particular branch, you will be given particular region, and in that region you have to sell your product, so that no overlapping should happen and there is proper allocation of the resources. In headquarter marketing team performs support and service function or activities to assist the help field salespeople in their job. So one team is there in the headquarter which will be providing customer support, customer service, which will be clearing the doubts of the customer, which will be clearing the doubts of the salespeople. If any technical information is required, they are providing technical information. If any sales order to be generated, they will give the sales order. If any email to be sent, if any catalog to be sent to the customer, all these things are done by the headquarter marketing team. These headquarter based service and support functions are promotion, then PR, publicity, then direct marketing, advertising. Now we'll study promotion. Under the promotion, we have advertising, sales promotion, public relation, publicity, and direct marketing. In advertising, we know there are a lot of advertisement given on the social media, on television, on radio, in print media. So regarding next is sales promotion, advertising. This team as a headquarter will also develop some schemes of the sales promotion, like buy one get one free, 20% discount, and coupons, lucky draws, like that. Schemes are designed to increase the sales. Then public relationship, they may call all the reporters of the newspapers, and they will provide the information regarding the new product launch or initiative taken by the companies. And publicity, they are generating good word of mouth publicity either by the advertisement or by creating some of the other events, carrying out events. Then direct marketing, under direct marketing they are sending emails, they are sending SMS, they are sending reminders, they are sending messages through social media. So this is promotion department which is working at the headquarter. There is one more function, marketing research department. Marketing research department is collecting information about the customer, collecting information about the competitor, collecting information about the product, collecting information about the market. So what all information can be collected about the customers, their taste preferences, what they are buying, why they are buying, and what is the disposable income, all the information related to customer age, gender, then disposable income, education, their preferences. Regarding competitors, their pricing, their advertisement, their promotional schemes, their strategies, all the information can be collected. Regarding product, different products that are available in the market, what are the substitutes, what are the products which are supplementing, these informations are provided. Regarding market, the market potential, market saturation, then the trends of the market, what are the different areas in that particular market, which area is to be targeted, all these information are provided. Then market logistics is about inventory management, warehouse management, supply chain, physical distribution of the finished good, including warehousing, inventory, transportation, and order processing. So in this, you have to take care of the stocks available at warehouses. Then you have to transport the product. You have to dispatch the product to the customer. Then you have to process the orders you have received. Then customer service like you have a toll-free number, you have customer care department, and people call there, and you have to provide pre-sale service, post-sale service, delivery services to the existing and new customers. Then there is one team which is coordinating between the sales people or the employee of the organization and the customers. Then various departments of the organization like production, HR, finance, quality management, then purchase department. Lot of departments are there in the organization. There, the support activities are either handled within the company or outsourced to specialists like marketing research agencies and advertising agencies. So some of the functions of the organization can be outsourced, like advertising can be outsourced to advertising agencies like Ulka, or there are a lot of organizations who are doing advertisement for the companies. Then there are also research agencies which are doing a lot of research for the organization like IMRB, AC Nelson's, Deloitte, PwC. These organizations will provide you uh, a ready-made research, or you can ask them to do research, customized research, and they will provide you the results. And these organizations are very expert in these all the type of research because they are doing it for so many years. The real integration between the sales and the marketing team should take place if there is a harmonious relationship that is built on the understanding of the common goals and effective process of delivering service to the customer. The real integration between the sales and the marketing team would take place if there is a harmonious relationship that is built on the understanding of the common goals and effective process of delivering service to the consumer. The real integration between the sales and the marketing teams would take place if there is a harmonious relationship and is built on the understanding of the common goals, effective process of delivering service to the consumer. So, the sales and the marketing, if they have a common goal, then only there will be synergy, there will be strength, then there will be unanimity, and the entire functions will be effective and efficient. Then next, after the integration of sales with the marketing, we have relationship selling. Buyers and sales sellers or the salespeople who do business together have some type of business or working relationship. That can be a transaction relationship, like one time transaction has happened, like you are doing transactions at the restaurant, you are doing transaction at the movie theater, that you are watching movies, and that's the transaction is over. Then some value added relationship is there, like you purchase a bike or you purchase vehicle, and postal services also available. They are also they are also providing the sales spare parts. They are also doing servicing. They are also providing information how to keep that vehicle in good condition. Or collaborative partnering relationship, maybe some joint venture, or uh, some more engagement. Every relationship is an exchange, which is the process of obtaining desired product or service from someone by offering something in return. So whenever you are selling the product, whenever you are selling the services, you expect some monetary benefits from the customers. So there is always exchange happening with your customers. In practice, the attitude and culture of the organization are reflected in the attitude and behavior of the individual buyers and the sales person. So organization's attitude and culture, buyer's attitude and culture, salesperson's attitude and culture should match. And they are, if you see, they are, you will see there is a small similarity or linkage between their attitude and culture. Buyer, seller, and company, salespeople, uh, customer, and company will have same kind of attitude, same kind of culture. Relationship marketing is basically a creation of customer loyalty. So relationship, why we today relationship marketing is required, because uh, if you want to develop new customers every time, it is very much costly. And if you want to retain your customer, you should have good relationship with that particular customer. That will also save, decrease your expenditure on getting customers or getting orders. It means important or major customers need continuous attention through partnering or collaborative relationship. So always we should be in touch with the customers. We should send them. We wish them on different festivals. We have to wish them on his birthday. We have to inform them about the new product launches. We have to send them some customer satisfaction survey. We have to follow up regarding the products is in good condition. Are they benefiting? If they have any doubt, if they need any help in maintenance or something like that. Relationship selling is the tactical or action oriented arm of the relationship marketing. For instance, the company's best salespeople are assigned to sell and service its class or major customers. So it is seen that the best salespeople are assigned to the customers who are giving more sales. Like there is a HDFC Bank, and there is a customer who is keeping crores of rupees, millions of rupees per dollar in their bank. So that customer is given special attention uh, and special services. In HSBC Bank, there is a separate counter, separate person who is providing exclusive services to the loyal customer, who is providing exclusive services to the person who are high net worth individuals, or who are having very big who are keeping very big deposits in their um, saving account or current account, or who are the large value customers. Both selling and buying organizations work collaboratively to lower the total cost or increase the value in order to achieve mutual benefits. However, all customers do not have high sales and profit potential. So every buyer and seller, they are working together to close the deal, and they are communicating with each other so that there should not be any problem in the future. Both of them they want to have win-win situation. Both of them want to mutually benefit each other. But not all the customers have high sales potential, high profit potential. There are some customers who will purchase from you in very minimum quantity. But you have to respect all the customers, because they will create good word of mouth publicity in the market. Customers who have low sales and profit potential, and businesses that have low price or low profit products and services, such as seeing a movie at a theater and eating at a restaurant. The focus is on single transaction with each customer. This is called transaction oriented selling. Therefore, after the product or the service is sold, the customer is not contacted again, and hence the relationship is not extended. So there are some at whenever you are watching movie, the transaction is very limited. It is maybe for 2 hours or 3 hours. After that, the company is not contacting customer. Customer is not contacting the company, and the transaction is over. At the restaurant also, you are there for 30 minutes, one hour or 2 hours at the maximum, and after that the transaction is over. Nobody's seller is not contacting buyer, buyer is not contacting seller is not contacting customer, customer is not contacting buyer. So these are very limited interactions. Then there are value added exchanges, like you are purchasing very high value product like car. If you are purchasing a Mercedes car, if you are purchasing a BMW, Audi, then it is called high value added exchange, because that is very important for that particular company that you have purchased the product. They are providing post sale service, they are providing pre sale service, they will help you in maintenance, they will help you in servicing. every time they will help you. So these are high value added exchanges where you pay a lot to the company, or these are high value transaction. The focus is on salespersons understanding the current and future needs of the customer correctly and meeting those needs better than the competitors. So always a Mercedes competing with the BMW, Audi, Lamborghini, Volkswagen, Skoda, and they are trying to show that they are better than their competitors. After the purchase is made, the salesperson contacts the customer to find out if the customer is satisfied and has the future needs. So even after sales, also they are checking whether you are satisfied, whether you are delighted, whether you have some other problems. Such customers have medium sales and profit potential. For example, Maruti Udyog Sales and Service Center contacts each customer to find out the customer satisfaction with the car's purchase or the maintenance service. So they have given example like Maruti Suzuki. They are calling each customer, checking that are they satisfied? Is the vehicle working in a proper condition? Is it in proper condition? Do you face any problem? Is the maintenance required? Is any help required from our side? Any assistance required? The role of the salespeople is very important in the company's relationship marketing program. So the salesman is the only one who is going to contact the customers. That's why the role of the salesperson is going to be very important, because depending on the salesperson, that relationship will long last. Wearing sales responsibilities or sales position. Selling includes variety of sales jobs which are different from one another. No two sales positions are similar. The term sales representative, no term sales representative will be used frequently and has the same meaning as a salesman or salesperson. Then there are six positions or categories represented in the table, indicates the varying sales responsibilities and classification. So at the top you have a CEO or president. He is also looking, he is also taking care of revenue generation at large at the top. Then we have VP sales, VP marketing, uh, positions to support the CEO. Then we have national sales managers in each and every country. If that is multinational organization, multinational company, then there are lots of sales national sales manager we have. Then within national under national sales manager, we have regional, zonal, or divisional sales manager. They are managing a particular state or two, three states at a time. Below that, we have district or the branch manager or area sales manager. These managers are managing few branches, 4 to 5 branches they are managing. So suppose each regional manager is managing suppose 30 to 35 branches. So each suppose each national manager is managing 30 to 40 regional managers. Then each regional or zonal or divisional sales manager is managing 10 to 20 branch managers or the district managers or the area sales manager. And below that we have a sales team in which you may have 50, 100, 200 sales people. So uh, this is the way organization works. Till national level we have top management, regional management and branch management. Regional manager and branch manager comes in a middle level management. Sometimes branch manager also considered as a first level manager, and sales are always the first level manager. First point of contact for the customers. Importance of the personal selling and sales management. So sales management is a very exciting career or a job. It is financially rewarding job. It is also a challenging job. It is exciting because it is related to glamour, because you are representing your company. There are lots of advertisement, and you can communicate that I am authentic representative of my company in this particular area. So you can call yourself as a manager. So it is very exciting that you are solving the problems of the customers. They are wishing you thank you and they are greeting you. Then and you get the satisfaction that you have helped people in their difficult times. And it is also financial rewarding as you know that the the remuneration salespeople are getting are the maximum in the industry compared to their colleagues in other departments. It is also a challenging job because you have to work in a field, you have to do lot of activities, you have to prepare reports, you have to attend lot of calls, you have to meet the targets. There's a lot of tension. There you have to clear the doubts. There are some problems with the customers. You have to solve the problems of the customers. So it is a lot. It is challenging. It is a monotonous job. There are more positions available in the sales than any other professional occupation. So you must be saying every day if you open the newspaper, you will find the sales job. It's not like in other functions. Other functions, there are very limited jobs and they are not leaving. You won't get uh, you won't get demand of operation management, operation manager or manufacturing manager or the financial manager every day. There are every day there are vacancies, but they are very limited. But in the sales, there are unlimited vacancies every day. Salespeople are among the best paid people in the business. That is the fact. The sales career is one of the fastest and surest route to reach the top management. Yes, most of the top management are salespeople or in the sales department earlier because they know how to generate the sales. That's why they are promoted to higher level. Studies on the top level managers have shown that many of these senior executives began their business career in their sales or marketing positions. So if you call any CEO, if you check the background of the CEO, MDs, presidents, most of them they are coming from the sales background. Sales management is the only that generates revenue or the money. So why the sales department is important? Because it is the only department that is generating money or revenue. All the other departments are spending the money, so these are they are the liabilities. Hence, the financial results of the organization depend on the performance of the sales management. So, if the sales management is active, if the sales management is working properly, then your organization will improve or your organization will generate profit. If other organizations are not, if other departments are not working properly, it will not matter to that significant level. But sales department is not working properly, then this organization definitely will not will generate less revenue or less profit. An entire organization will be impacted. The net profit or the bottom line of the company is considered as good if the sales revenue or the top line is good. It shows how important the sales department and the sales people are to the organization. Role and skills of the modern sales manager. The role of the sales manager is the modern company has role of the sales manager is the modern company has changed. So earlier, we have a very demanding boss. We have very rude boss. We have a boss who used to give a lot of scolding, who used to give a lot of targets, who used to give a lot of tension, who is always demanding, who is always controlling his salespeople, who is always asking for selling large volumes. But today's sales manager is somewhat different. He is a team leader rather than a boss. He is helping team. He is showing how to do it. He is participating in each and every activity. He is leading by example. He is a very good role model for the sales team. The sales manager directs and advises salespeople by working with them and giving them necessary authority and take decisions take decisions. So today's sales manager believes in delegating the responsibilities. Today's sales manager believes in giving authority to take the decision. They work with them. They participate the salespeople and they work towards the common goal. They also help the poor performance so that they can get the training and they improve their performance. Some of the important changes in the roles of the modern sales manager are as follows. by playing a strategic role in the company. So today's sales manager, they are expected to play strategic role in the company. They have to provide key inputs to the company regarding information, their opinion, their decisions, what to do, what not to do. Then they are expected to develop long-term strategies, long-term plans in marketing and in advertisement. Like they should be able to forecast the sale. They should able to manage the manpower or the sales force. They should able to maintain the budget. They should able to give inputs in how to prepare the sales budget, and they should able to give opinion about implementation of strategies, controlling of the strategies, executing the strategies, working as a member of a corporate team to achieve objective such as customer satisfaction, sales growth, and market share. So it is expected from the sales manager that he should work in a corporate team to achieve customer satisfaction, sales growth, and increase in the market share. Working as a team leader with the sales people to achieve the objectives or the goals of the sales and the profits. So each organization has some objectives, some goals. So to achieve in terms of sales, in terms of profits, in terms of revenue, and sales manager is expected to to achieve those targets. Managing multiple sales channels such as company sales force, electronic or online marketing, and telemarketing. So today you are not only selling through your sales team or on the field, you are also selling on online. You are also selling your products on e-commerce platform. You are also selling your products through telemarketing. So there they also have to spend some time. There they also have to give some inputs. Using latest technology to build superior buyer-seller relationship. So today's word is about high technology. Today's word is about advanced technology. So you have to give some inputs on technology fronts also. Continually updating the information and understanding the changes in the marketing environment like customers, business, competitors, strategies, tactics, government regulation, and technological chances. So whatever the problems organization is facing, that problem has to be solved. There it is expected that sales manager should take initiative. Now, skills required by the sales manager, people skills. People skills include the sales manager's abilities to motivate, lead, communicate, and coordinate effectively with the people around him. So it is the communication which matters a lot. Interpersonal skills are more important in the organization. If you want to become a successful leader, you should have very good people skill. You should able to communicate properly. You should able to give instruction properly. You should able to understand the problems of the sales people. So you should motivate the people. You should lead the people properly. You should communicate with the people properly. You should coordinate the activities properly. You should be effective and efficient uh, through the synergy of the people. The ability to develop team oriented relationship is important with respect to salespeople. The ability to develop team oriented relationship is important with respect to salespeople, and sales managers should understand their individual needs and skills and carry out coaching or mentoring to improve the performance. So, sales manager should have very good relationship with his subordinates, with the senior management, and with the other stakeholders and with the customers. You should able to communicate properly. You should able to motivate to the juniors. You should able to speak positive. You should able to generate good word of mouth publicity to their products. It is believed that people skills matter 85% and your other knowledge about the products or about the organization matters only 15%. In a people skill, you should be good at sharing, you should be good at cooperating, you should be good at listening, you should be good at giving directions, you should be good at giving respecting each other, respecting everyone, and giving personal space to each other. Now, second skill of the sales manager, that is managing skills. In managing skills, you need to have planning, organizing, control, and decision making. So, for managing the sales force, the sales manager should have administrative or managing skills like planning, organizing, control, and decision making. These skills can be learned by attending the management development program. So, good thing about the managing the skill is these can be learned by doing some educational programs like MBA. MBA is very good program by which where you can develop a lot of management skills. In addition to that, you have a lot of workshops, you have a lot of online courses by which you can also develop teamwork. You can also develop good communication skills, leadership skills, presentation skills. So, top five skills required by the managers are team building, providing feedback, time management, delegation, communication, etc. Technical skills. So, as today we are using a lot of technologies in our organization, so technical skills are also equally important. These are the specific tasks or the functions such as training, selling, negotiating, as well as ability to use the computer or information technology skills and problem solving abilities in specific industry discipline. So now today's organization are using SAP, ERP, lot of different softwares. So you should be good at using these softwares. There are a lot of mobile apps. Then there are a lot of social medias which can be effectively used to increase the sales. Then levels of sales management position. There are three basic levels of the sales management. In many organizations like top management, middle level management, and first level management. In top level management, the activities we do are the long term activities or the strategic activities, or which are more important activities which are giving direction to the organization or to the people. Middle level management are the people who are managing, implementing, executing, achieving the goals. At top management, they are directing and setting the goals. Middle level management is trying to achieve the goal, implement the strategies, achieve the strategies so that we can achieve the goal. And they are finding out the problems. They are trying to fix the problems. And the first level managers or the operational level is trying to generate sales, trying to increase the revenue, trying to increase the profit, and trying to implement the strategies, trying to implement the direction given by the top management and middle level management. At the top level, we have post designations like director sales, vice president sales and marketing, director marketing, the general manager sales, general manager marketing. Then we have national sales manager, national marketing manager. uh, Top manage at the top management, we have long term planning and long term strategies we have to develop. Then strategic and marketing and sales planning we have to do. We have to do strategic marketing. We have to do strategic marketing planning. We have to do strategic sales planning. Then we have to scan the external environment. What is doing? Who is doing? Where is doing? What are the competitors are doing? What is the taste and changes of the customers? What marketing is? What market potential has? Whether there are chances for the growth? How much chances for the growth in the next year? Like that, you have to find out. Setting long-term and short-term objectives and goals are the is the second function of the top management. Then developing strategies for achieving the goals. Then marketing, making decisions for the implementing strategies and action plans and controlling the performance. They are also the part of the top management team for the organization's strategic planning and coordination between various functional areas. So, sales manager are always involved in most of the decision of strategic importance, most of the long-term decisions. Their opinion is taken. For example, after joining the company, the general manager sales and marketing of Steel Tubes Limited. So this is a hypothetical company.
There is a Steel Tubes Limited company. Its general manager want to set a goal that they want to achieve number one position from number three position by increase the market share in next 3 years. So like this decision has to be taken at uh, top level or at strategic level. If you are a national manager, if you are vice president, if you are a CEO, then you have to take such decision that today we are at number three position. In next 3 years, we have to reach to number one position. We have to increase the market share. A market survey was undertaken to obtain the information about the customers, competitor, external environment. So if we want to achieve that position, we have to do a lot of research. We have to understand a lot of facts. We have to understand the ground reality. Based on the findings of the market survey, a strategic marketing plan for the next 3 years and the marketing plan for the 1 year was developed, discussed at the annual marketing conference and finalized with the few changes. So if you want to reach to the number one position in 3 years, you have to develop 3 years marketing plan. And if you want to check that marketing plan is running or not, you have to develop 1 year marketing plan and you have to check how much progress you are doing, how much efficiently you are executing 1 year marketing plan. Then you have to go for the 3 year marketing plan. You have to keep 1 year 3 year marketing plan ready, but the first year 1 year marketing plan also should be ready in next 1 year what we have to achieve. And if you are achieving the whatever, if you have achieved whatever you have set in 1 year, then you can easily achieve the 3 year plan. It was also the responsibility of the general manager, sales and marketing to implement the marketing and sales plans through the branch and regional sales managers. So national sales managers make sure that their area sales manager, regional sales manager achieve the target. Performance control was done by measuring the actual performance and reviewing the same against the goals or the targets every quarter when corrective actions were discussed and finalized for implementation. So why the salespeople are getting more remuneration than others? Because they achieve their goals, because they achieve their targets. They do a lot of brainstorming, they do a lot of meetings, they discuss a lot where is failure, who is performing less, why the problem is arising, and they solve their problems. They achieve targets every day, they achieve targets every month, they achieve targets every quarter, and ultimately they achieve targets every year. The middle level management or the tactical management or the tactical sales manager, regional sales manager, zonal sales manager, divisional sales manager are the designation you have at the middle level. This is also called tactical strategies. Tactical sales manager. Job of these job of the people who are at the middle level management are, or the job of the middle level sales manager are manage several branches of the districts, implement the strategies, manage several branches or the districts. So suppose there is a regional manager, he has to manage at least 30 branches. If there is a divisional sales manager, he has to manage at least 20 to 25 branches. Like that, they have a target that branches which are falling in particular region or division, they have to manage, like western region, eastern region, north region, south region. Then they have to implement the strategies and action plans approved by the top management. So top management is always there to set goals, to set action plans, to set the strategies. So that has to be implemented, executed by the middle level management. In some companies, these positions are eliminated in order to make the organization flatter. So in some organization, middle level management is not there. That is called flat organizations. Such organizations sometimes use cross-functional team selling or a high sales potential customers. So they, whenever there is a lack, whenever in some organization middle level management is not there, then the different managers from different functions, they help each other. Example: GC Limited uh, had four regional sales manager at Delhi, Kolkata, Delhi branch, Kolkata branch, Mumbai branch, and Chennai branch for a range of consumers durable industrial products. So at Delhi managers, there is a Delhi regional sales manager, Kolkata regional sales manager, Mumbai regional sales manager, and Chennai regional sales manager. In Delhi sales manager, suppose there are 40 branches. In Kolkata sales manager, suppose there are 30 branches. Mumbai sales manager has handling 40 branches. Chennai sales manager is handling 35 branches. Like that, the responsibility every regional sales manager has. Each regional sales manager had 3 or 4 branch managers reporting to him, or more than that. The main responsibilities of the regional sales manager were to allocate regional sales and expenditure budgets to the respective branches, along with the finalization of the action plans for achieving the budgeted goals. So, as we said, the regional sales manager is handling 5 to 10 or 20 or 30 branches. So, for that particular branches, we have to allocate the budget and we have to allocate the target, and they have to achieve the target. Then implement the marketing strategies, action plans. So, there are some strategies, there are some action plans we have decided to implement at each and every branch. So, they make sure that it should be implemented, it should be executed in a smooth manner. Then they are reviewing the performance every month, every week, and they are taking corrective actions if the target is not met. Then they suggest the increment, promotions, and training for the salespeople who are working under them. Now we have the sales first level manager or the branch managers. This is operational. Here you have to do lot of operations. Here you have to do lot of executions. You have to do lot of implementation. This is the first level of the entry level position of the sales management with titles such as branch sales manager, area sales manager, district sales manager. They have to achieve their goals. They have a sales team, and with the help of sales team, they have to achieve the goals for that particular branch or that particular area or that particular district. They have to day-to-day supervision. They have to do. They have to do a lot of. They have to collect lot of reports. They have to manage the sales every day. They have to manage the sales every day from every salesperson for every sales territory. They have to implement strategies, action plans. They have to follow the procedures. They have to follow the rules decided by the higher level management. For example, as the branch manager of the Ahmedabad office, AR Shah's sales performance for the year 2014-15 was above the above the yearly sales goals, but the profit contribution was less because he actually spent more on the more amount for achieving the sales target. He achieved sales, no doubt he achieved sales, but the expenditure, the budget he was allocated, he exceeded. He did a lot of expenditure to achieve that particular target. He might have done a lot of advertising. He might have given a lot of discounts, and then he has achieved the target. So it is not appreciated. So he was given advice. He was given counseling. He was given proper training to achieve the sales target with the budget he has given. After the analysis, it was found that 6 out of 8 salespeople traveling and lodging expenses were higher than the budgeted sales. During the performance review, the regional sales manager Shah admitted that his supervision of the salesperson was focused on achievement of the sales target rather than the expenses of the salespeople. So he did not bother about the expenses. He just was working to achieve the sales target. The regional sales manager pointed out that the branch manager's responsibility was not only to achieve the sales managed targets consistently but also to control the expenditure so as to achieve the profit contribution goal. Now there are, in addition to top level, middle level, and first level management, we also have staff sales management position. These staff sales management positions are not giving any direction. They are not controlling the salespeople, but they are helping the salespeople. Like you have a research department, you have advertising department, you have a customer service department. So manager working in these in these departments are helping salespeople to achieve their targets, to make more sales, to generate more revenue, to generate more profit. In most medium and large size organizations, there are manager positions which provide assistance or help to the line sales managers and salespeople. In most medium and large size organizations, there are staff manager positions which provide assistance or help to the line sales manager and salespeople. The sales training manage customer service The sales training manager, customer service manager, or sales coordination manager are some of the examples of the staff sales management position. So there is a training manager, there is a customer service manager, there is a coordinator manager. These are the examples of such a positions. They don't have authority to direct to the sales people that you have to complete this much sale. They are nowhere giving instruction to the sales people, but they are just providing information. They are helping them. They are providing assistance. It is important to understand that these staff managers have an advisory role and they do not have a line authority on the line sales manager and the sales force. So this is all about sales management. Thank you very much. I hope you have understood this concept.